Boris Johnson yesterday gave a speech in which he, and I'm paraphrasing broadly, some people are simply too stupid to get on. They're not educated to a level where they can enjoy the economic recovery that's on its way.
Well, I don't agree with Boris Johnson on this, and I have to say to you, much though he's a funny and engaging guy, I have to say I think these comments reveal a fairly unpleasant, careless elitism that somehow suggests that we should give up on a whole swathe of our fellow citizens.
Does he say give up, Mr. Clegg?
Well, I think to talk about as if we are a sort of breed of dogs, a species, I think he calls it, where...
Whether you may think of value of IQ tests, it's surely relevant to a conversation about equality that as many as 16% of our species have an IQ below 85, about 2% have an IQ above 130. He then talks about shaking up the cornflake packet.
Yeah, and I think the danger is if you start taking such a deterministic view of people and start saying because they've got a number attached to them, in this case an IQ number, somehow they're not really going to rise to the top of the cornflake packet. That is complete anathema to everything I've always stood for in politics, which is yes, of course you can't have and you shouldn't aspire, absolutely not. As an old-fashioned liberal, I don't aspire to a perfectly homogenous society where everybody has exactly the same kind of outcomes. But you've got to try and do more to instill greater opportunity in society. And there are people who, there's certainly young people, I know children who develop at different paces, who might discover talents they didn't know about before. And our job, surely in politics, is not to simply say, look, we're gonna hive off one bunch of people and put them in one kind of category and kind of basically say they're parked and that there's not much we can do about them. Instead, what we should be doing is saying we should be instilling an opportunity culture, a culture of aspiration, of hard work, where people can get ahead for everybody. And that's we talked about this before. That's why I think so many of the measures, whether it's fairer tax system so people keep more money in their pocket when they work, even on low incomes, whether it's helping more people with childcare, with early intervention for toddlers so that they get a good start in life. All of these things are about precisely not kind of treating society like a kind of great big cake where you kind of divide it up in slices and say we're not going to do much about this slice, but we are going to concentrate on that slice.
Lastly on this, it was an address in memory of the late Lady Thatcher. How much is Boris Johnson morphing into a Thatcher figure with comments such as these? Well,
look, it's for the Conservatives to sort of, they seem to have a absolute fascination to constantly rake over the history of the 1980s. We're 2013. We're not 1986. The times have moved on.
It is Thatcheresque, though, isn't it? A sentiment such as this.
Well, I think what I really object to about the what in how can I put it politely, appears to be a very wide-ranging speech with some, as ever, funny, colourful phrases about the kind of Freudian fear that men have of the deep recesses. All of that's great. That's funny. I like it. But what I really don't like, actually, is the rather careless elitism which seems to lie at the heart of it. And I think that is a very dispiriting message to many, many parents who'll be listening to this, to many youngsters who are listening to this, who, despite all the challenges they might face, want to kind of get ahead in life. And it seems to me what we should be about in politics is encouraging people to get ahead in life, not basically saying to people, well, if you're not up to scratch, you might as well give up.